And we are live. We are live with Lucy, my Indian ringneck. Look. Welcome to Annie's Flock Weekly Live, or welcome back to our weekly live. My name is Annie, and today we are live with Miss Lucy, my Indian ringneck. I don't know how long she's gonna stick around because usually she doesn't stay in the same spot for very long, so we shall see. In today's live, the subject or topic that was chosen is the 12 hours of sleep rule with parrots. So, while we're waiting, while we're waiting to have people join, for anyone that will watch this on the replay, just a little reminder that Annie's Flock, we go live, I go live, sometimes by myself, sometimes with one of my birds, every week on Saturday from 10 to 10:30. So it's just half an hour, and we talk about one topic, different topic every week. And if you're live, you get to ask questions about this specific topic or something very bird related, and then you're very close. And then I will answer your questions. You also get to pick which topic I will be talking about, because every Thursday I post on the post tab. You're very close. On the post tab on YouTube, a poll with 3 different topics that I would like to talk about, and you get to pick the one that we're gonna talk about. She's very close during the live. And I do the same thing on my Instagram page, Annie's Flock Instagram. If you don't follow me over there, I have some cute little videos over there and some photos. Go check it out. The link is in the description box of this live. And I put the same poll in my story over there. All right, so yes, what are we doing? Are we going to talk about sleep with you? Yes, I think that's what we're going to do. Okay, so first, let's show a little trick, and then we'll get right into the subject. Do you want to spin? Well, that's not a spin. Let's do this again. Spin. Good job. That was a nice spin. All right, so I see here there is a few people. I see 8 people. I have a question for you before I go into the subject and everything we're going to talk about. So anyone on here has pet birds, specifically more parrots, anything from a parrotlet to a macaw, any sizes, anything. Did you ever have one? Do you have one? Are you interested in having one? Let me know in the comments. I would really like to know, because I'm trying to reach out a bigger audience, bird people or bird wannabe people. Yeah, she's very cute. Her name is Lucy. She's 8 years old, and she's an Indian ringneck. Yeah, so let me know in the comments if you ever had a bird. Oh, I was too close. She doesn't like hands. If you ever had a pet bird, if you have one currently, or if you want to have one. Oh, that's cute. You're 8 years old too. All right, so let's get into the subject. So we're going to be talking about the 12 hours of sleep rule with parrots. I honestly thought it was a given, that it was a rule that everyone knew. And then I realized not really. From all kinds of places, forums, Facebook groups, Instagram, whatever, all questions that are being asked and things that people don't really know about this rule. And then I remember, yeah, when I first got my first budgie, I had no idea about this 12-hour rules. So I decided to put it in the subject. Let me see. You have a parakeet, a little budgie. I have 2 of those. Yes. So did you know about that 12-hour sleep rule? I'm curious to know. So what is this, if you guys don't know? Why is it important? And how to manage to get your bird 12 hours sleep. So that's mainly what we're going to be talking about. Okay, come here. Do you want to just spin? Spin. Come on, spin, baby. Okay. She wants treats. Yeah, I don't know how long she's going to stay with us, but okay, so basically the 12 hours of sleep rule is that your bird, and I'm talking about any parrots, from parrotlet, little tiny parrotlets, all the way to macaws. She's following my hand. She thinks she's going to get a treat. Should have 12 hours of sleep in non-interrupted 12 hours of sleep in the dark. And this is, every bird should have that. Now, why? Well, unless you're a breeder. If you're a breeder, that's different. I once had 2 parakeets, but my blue, oh, that's sad. Yeah, it happens, right? Yeah. So, what are you doing? I feel like I stay on topic a little bit better when I don't have a bird with me. They kind of tend to distract me, but I think they're cute to be in the live too. So whatever. You get very close to my head for some reason. I'm not sure why. Maybe if I move you a little bit, are you too close to the light and you don't like it? I can't move this way. Okay. Now, why is it so important? So the only reason why you wouldn't want to have a 12-hour of sleep for your birds is if you are a breeder and you're trying to breed your birds. So let me explain the cycle, the biology behind it, or the hormonal cycles for birds. Most of parrots are breeding when the time is right. Okay, you're very distracting, baby. When the time is right. So meaning, usually they get hormonal and they start breeding in the spring or the fall or things like, basically when the days are getting longer, they have more food, it's warmer. All of these signs is telling their body, okay, this is time. It's time. We're going to have plenty of foods and we're going to be able to feed our babies. So basically, this is what happens. If you reduce the time of sleep or the time of darkness for your bird, what's going to happen is their hormones are going to be triggered, and it's going to tell them, you just poop on my floor. It's going to tell their body, oh, we're going to put ourselves into breeding mode. It's time to have babies. So, and that can have multiple not so desirable effect on the bird, because they're going to get nesty. They're going to get protective over their environment, their cage. They're going to get territorial, aggressive, frustrated, all these things. And sometimes some people, they say, especially in the spring, I'm just going to move this away. She just flew away. Especially in the spring, people will say, oh, my bird all of a sudden started biting me out of nowhere, attacking people, or attacking people that were getting closer to me. All these things. And then they don't understand why. But then they didn't realize that accidentally they were, the days were getting longer and they didn't really do anything about it. And that what happens is that their hormones are kicking in and they're like, okay, let's make babies. If they don't have a mate, they get frustrated. If they're bound to you, they're going to attack other people that are getting close to you because they see you as your mate, which should not, but there's other things. But basically, this is what happens when you don't give the 12-hour of sleep. And then if they get, I want to say, less than 10 hours, now you're getting into the danger zone in the sense that they get grumpy overall because they did not have a good night of sleep. And especially if it's being interrupted by noise, light, other animals, whatever. It's like if you get interrupted all night long while you're trying to sleep the next day, you're just going to feel grumpy. So that exactly, it's the same thing with birds, really. Do you want to come here, baby? Are you eating the leftover breakfast, some olive this morning? I think you are, eh, baby? Come here. Come here. I'll give you a treat. Come. So basically, that's why you want to have your pet bird parrots a 12-hour sleep. Come on. That's the 12-hour sleep rule. Come on, baby. Come on. I don't want you to eat the leftovers. Come here. Come on. Come on. Come on, baby. Look what I have for you. Hey, Lucy. Yeah, she didn't care. I have a treat for you, baby. Come on. Come on. Come on, I'll give you a treat. Oh, good job. Okay. All right. Now, don't hesitate if you have any questions about this. Let me know in the comments, okay? In the chat. All right. So let's go into how can you get your parrot to have 12 hours of sleep? Because it's not necessarily easy. First, you have to go along with your own schedule, right? It doesn't matter when they get the 12 hours of sleep, as long as it's like a block of 12 hours. So for example, for me specifically, now, and then we're going to play into how can we manage this. For me specifically, I wake up at 5:30 during the week. So my week schedule and my weekend schedule is a little bit different. So during the week, I wake up at 5:30 in the morning. I leave the house at 7:45-ish, and I come back between 4:30 and 5:30, okay, in those areas. So for me, during the week, it's the perfect schedule for me. Unfortunately, they don't get a full 12 hours during the week because I just can't. It doesn't give me enough time to feed them before going to work or feed them before they go to sleep. So what I do is I wake them up around 6, quarter after 6, and then I give them breakfast, which is a fresh chop of veggies mostly. Come here, baby. Hey, oh, Lucy, come on, baby. Oh. She's snacking on my Conyers leftover breakfast. Anyways, that's okay. Doesn't matter. So what was I saying? That's what happens is when I have my birds out, well, I'll do the live, I just get distracted. So yes, so I give them breakfast, or I wake them up 6, quarter after 6. I give them breakfast, and then I leave 7:45. So that gives me like an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes for them to be able to eat their breakfast. I don't want to leave the fresh food in their cages during all day because then bacteria gets in there and they can get sick, right? So really important. Yeah, so I wake them up quite early, right? And then I come back between 4:45 to 5:30. I give them their dinner, which is pellets, cold pressed organic pellets for parrots. And they go to bed at 7. So at 6:30, I have a ritual where my lights are actually on timers. So I close the blind at 6:30. I have blackout curtains. I close the curtains, and then between 6:30 and 7, my light starts to go off in my bird room, one after the other one. So slowly, it mimics the real world, if you will, right? It doesn't go from super bright to super dark right away. It's like in reality, the sun goes down a little bit. So by closing one light after the other one, it just dims the daylight, if you will, gradually. So it makes a little bit like a sunset, if you will, kind of. So this is what I do. So if you think about it, they wake up around 6:15, and they go to bed completely at 7. It's not a full 12 hours. It's more like 11 hours. But during the weekend, they get their full 12 and sometimes a little bit more, between 12 and 13. So it balances out. And I know that I'm being like on the cusp of being into the danger zone with the 11 hours of sleep, but it works well. Honestly, I have 2 budgies, one male and one female in the same cage, and they're adult and they never had eggs. It's fine, and they're really bonded, but they never have a desire to have babies. So that's great because I'm controlling these aspects. So food, and then amount of sleep and all of that. So that's what I do with mine. So into this, there's different things you can do to make sure that your parrot gets 12 hours of sleep. Do you want to come here? Do you want to come say hi to people? Here. Anyone in here? I see a few people in here. Anyone has birds? Or have birds, or what did you get? Anything from parrotlets to macaw? I'm curious. And did you know about the 12 hours of sleep rule? I'm curious to know. Put that in the chat. I want to see. Okay, so this is what I do, but your schedule could be completely different. If you wake up super late because you work super late, they could be sleeping from 10 at night until 10 a.m. in the morning. It could be midnight to noon. It really doesn't matter when. It just have to be a block of 12 hours. Hello. Just have to be a block of 12 hours straight and in the dark. So one thing that is hard to do is to be completely in the dark sometimes, especially when the days are longer during the summer. What are you doing? You're right in front of me. Let's see. Do you have a bird? I'm going to pronounce this turboprop aviation. Do you have one? What is it? What do you have? I'm curious. So blackout curtains works amazing. It really blocks the daylight, especially in the summer. So it works fantastic for me. Blackout curtains. Then I have some notes because I want to make sure that I didn't forget. You could have the bird their own room. So that way so for me, I have a bird room, right? So if they have their own room, when it's time to go to bed, you just shut the door, shut the curtains, shut the lights. Nobody gets in that room until the next day. So there's nobody walking by the cage, making noise, watching TV, blah, 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 all that stuff. No pets going in the way if you have like a dog or a cat or whatever, right? Other things, yes. So the other thing that I do is the lights that are controlled. So they're on timer. So if I'm not here, I can always close the curtains a little bit prior. They still have all the lights on, and then they just shut down by themselves. So that way I know even if I'm not home, if I have to leave early, so let's say I come home and then I feed them and then I have to leave because there's something I'm doing in the evening, then I just shut the curtains and I know that my lights are just going to go off and they're still going to have their 12 hours of sleep. So for me, timers for lights it works great, really. The other thing you can do is if if you don't have a room, let's say you have a smaller space and you don't have a room where that is dedicated for your birds, so your bird, their cage is like right in the kitchen or in the living room or a central place in your house or in your home. The other thing you can do is get a sleeper cage for your bird, and it doesn't have to be big, because when they're sleeping, they're not moving. They're literally sleeping. They just stay in one spot and they sleep. It makes me think about something that I wanted to talk about. Well, I just said that. I'm just going to finish my thought here, but yeah. And I want to come back to this. So you can have a sleeper cage. It doesn't have to be big. It can be really small. Just adapt the sleeper cage to the size of your bird. What are you doing, baby? Want to come here? Want to spin? Spin. Come on, spin. Good job, baby. And then you can put that sleeper cage. So it's time to go to bed. You put the bird in the sleeper cage, and then you can put that cage in a space where they won't get the sleep won't get interrupted. They won't get bothered or whatever. Meaning, let's say you have a closet, they could go in a closet, big enough to put that cage with nothing around that they could like chew on or whatever. If you know that you won't be doing any laundry during that time, you can put them in the laundry room. If you have a second bathroom, you can put them in that little bathroom for that time. That works well if you have a smaller space and your bird's environment where they live. Or sometimes some people, they just have their birds out in the house all day because they're there all day and they don't really have like a spot necessarily to just sleep. So sleeper cage works well, and doesn't have to have a toy in there, no food. You can just put a bowl of water. That's fine if they're thirsty, but they don't eat, they don't play while they're sleeping. They're literally sleeping. And that comes to my little note that I put aside here. One thing that made me also think that a lot of people don't know about this, I thought was a given of that 12 hours asleep rule, is that I have lots of questions saying, people that don't have birds, okay? But still, that means that if one day they want to get a budgie because they go to the pet store and the budgie is super cheap and it's like, oh, it's going to be fun, and they have no idea about it, then, you know. Anyways, so I get a lot of comments or questions saying, oh, you have 4 birds. Yeah, I do have 4 birds. It must be so loud in your house. Yeah, it's kind of loud. How do you sleep at night? And I'm like, what? My birds are sleeping. Why would it be a problem for me to sleep at night? So this is another thing that made me think that people don't know about that rule. So birds, when they sleep, they sleep. If they are in the dark, they won't chat, they won't chatter, they won't scream, none of this. They will sleep. They will start to be vocal when the light comes on or the sun comes up. So that's why you want to get those blackout curtains. But yeah, strangely enough, I do get that question quite often. So let's go back to how you can get your bird to get 12 hours of sleep. How long do we have left on this slide? We have 6 minutes. Okay. So now this is a whole topic. It's about the cage cover. So a lot of people are going to cover their cage. I used to do this. So where they are right now, the bird room used to be my living room, which I decided to change that. I'm just going to close my window a little bit. So that they could have the bird room and I didn't have to cover their cage. And I'm going to explain this. I have enough time, I think. And if you have questions, just put that in the chat. I'll try to answer them before I say bye. So I used to do this. It was fine, the cage covering. I don't think it's ideal to cover your cage birds for a few reasons, and I can get into this. But I think that if this is the only option you have to get them the best sleep they can get, then yes, do it. Absolutely. It's better than nothing. But it's not ideal. And let me tell you why. So first off, your cover would need to cover the entire cage and needs to be thick enough so that the light doesn't get through, because your bird needs to be in the dark. Now, the other thing about the covering is that it doesn't remove sound. So if you're watching TV, you're having a party, you have friends over, your kids are playing around the cage, your dog is barking right beside the cage, it doesn't, she's gone. It doesn't remove the noise at all, right? So it still interrupts their sleep, right? Now, the other thing about two other thing about cage covering is the material that you're using. If it's directly on the cage, it's close enough that some of the birds, especially I want to say bigger birds, will be able to get their beak through the bars and chew that cover. And if they chew the cover, and it's fabric, they can ingest that, and it's going to impact their crop, and they would need surgery to get that removed, very costly and not guaranteed. And yes, they can die. So that's another thing about cage covering. So if you do choose to cover your bird's cage, make sure you inspect that cover to make sure that your bird doesn't chew on it. If you see that they started chewing on it, try to find another option. And the last thing I want to say about the cage covering is that can trigger hormones as well, because it's creating like a nest. So if you're basically building a nest every night. You're covering that cage. It creates like a dark, cozy, especially if the cage is quite small, cozy environment, and you're creating a nest for the bird. Oh yeah, okay. You agree with this, Lucy? It's creating a nest for the bird. And then in the morning, you're picking the nest apart. So you're destroying the bird's nest. So first, you're creating a nest, triggers hormones. Bird is wanting to be nesty and have babies. So hormonal behaviors, all that stuff, aggression, frustration, they don't have a mate, whatever, attack other people's because they're bonded to you and those people are interacting with you, all that stuff. And not only you're the person that builds that nest, but in the morning you're that person that is destroying the nest. So what happens is that it can affect your relationship, because you're destroying their nest. So they're going to be upset at you. Can you see all the problems that can be created because of that? So, I mean, yes, it's better than absolutely nothing if you don't have any. Oh my gosh, I need to come back. She's like right in the bowl of treat, like having a blast right now. Hey, baby, what are you doing? What are you doing, baby? Come on. Come on. Come on, baby. Okay, come on. She opened, so they're smart. She opened the lid and she was literally going all the way in. Okay, come on, baby. Hey, Lucy, come on. Yeah, she's like, I had a big snack now. All right, so we're almost done here. So yeah, if you don't have any other choice but to cover their cages, it's better than absolutely nothing. But if you can use all these other tricks that I gave you and make it work so that they have 12 hours of sleep without being interrupted and in the dark, that's a better option. So Don't forget to subscribe and look up for our weekly live. I go live every Saturday morning from 10 to 10:30 Pacific time with a different topic, and you get to pick that topic through the poll on my post tab, as well as my Instagram, Annie's Flock Instagram page in the story every week on Thursday. So look that up. The link is in the description box below, and I will see you next week. Okay, bye.